My name is Grace Carter. I'm 32 years old, and last Christmas, my own brother stood up from the dinner table, grabbed two bulging black trash bags, and threw them at my feet like I was the garbage pickup. One hit my leg with a dull thud, knocking mud and snow onto my jeans. The whole table went silent for half a second. Then I heard it. The little snorts. The smirks being swallowed behind napkins, the fake coughs covering laughter. "You're not family anymore," my brother Jake said, staring straight through me. "You and that kid don't belong here." I felt my daughter flinch behind me. Her small fingers dug into my coat, but nobody even looked at her like she was a real person. My mother, Barbara, stood slowly, like she was tired of pretending. Her eyes slid over me and landed on my child. "She doesn't belong here either," she said, each word sharp and precise. "She's just a reminder of your mistakes." My chest burned, but I didn't cry. I'd already cried enough in this house growing up. My sister Hannah leaned back in her chair, folded her arms, and let out a short laugh. "Seriously, Grace, shut up, sit down, eat, and get out before you ruin this holiday." "Like you ruin everything else," someone muttered. "Just be grateful we even let you in." And utensils started clinking again, like this was just entertainment before dessert. Hannah jerked her chin toward my daughter. "Watch closely, kid. That's what failure looks like." Something inside me clicked, like a lock turning. I picked up my daughter's backpack, ignored the trash bags at my feet, looked my brother dead in the eyes. "Thanks," I said calmly. "I'll remember this." He smirked like it was a victory. He had no idea what he'd just started. I took my daughter's hand, turned my back on all of them, and walked out of that house like I was walking out of a burning building. I didn't slam the door. I didn't scream. I just left. And that scared them more than any scene I could have made. Before I tell you exactly how I turned that night into the one thing they never saw coming, and how I made every word they threw at me cost them more than they ever imagined, tell me, where are you watching from right now? Drop your location in the comments. I want to see how far this perfect family Christmas story is about to travel. The second the cold air hit our faces, my daughter Lily squeezed my hand. "Are we in trouble?" she whispered. "No," I said, even though my voice shook. "They are." We walked to my old beat-up car, the one they'd mocked in the driveway, and I buckled her in with fingers that wouldn't stop trembling. I sat in the driver's seat, hands on the wheel, heart pounding so hard I could hear it. For a moment, I almost did what I'd always done. Swallow it. Make excuses for them. Tell myself that's just how they are. Then I looked in the rearview mirror. I saw my little girl's face, wide-eyed, confused, hurt, and I knew. This was it. This was the last time she would ever see me take that kind of disrespect and call it family. Have you ever had a moment where humiliation snaps into clarity, like a switch, and you suddenly see everyone's role in your life? Growing up, Jake called me the mistake. My mom loved to remind me of every bad decision I'd ever made, from the guy I dated at 19 to getting pregnant with Lily without a ring on my finger. Hannah played the perfect child, the one who followed all the rules, and she made sure I felt how far I fell short every time she looked at me. They'd always treated me like the family cautionary tale. Tonight, they upgraded me to the villain, so I did something I'd never done before. I pulled out my phone and scrolled to the video I'd started recording the moment we walked in. I'd hit record out of pure instinct, thinking I might need proof one day that I wasn't crazy, that it really was that bad. And there it was. The trash bags, the lines about not belonging, my mother calling my daughter a mistake, the sound of their laughter. My stomach turned, but another feeling rose above the nausea. Power. I pulled the car out of the driveway. In the rearview mirror, I watched the house shrink behind us. White lights, big wreath, the image of a cozy Christmas postcard hiding a rotten core. "Where are we going?" Lily asked. "To a hotel tonight," I said, "and then we're going to build something they can never touch." My phone buzzed. A text from my best friend Claire. "How's Christmas at the farm?" "Surviving." I took a deep breath and typed back. "You're not going to believe this. Call me." 5 minutes later, I was parked outside a cheap roadside motel. Lily dozed in the back seat. Claire's voice filled my ear. I told her everything, fast and flat, like I was reading a police report. The trash bags, the words, the way they laughed, the way my mom looked at my child, the way I walked out. Claire was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, "Grace, this is abuse, just with tinsel." "It's just them," I started. then stopped. Because hearing myself say just them felt like choosing them over my daughter. You recorded it? Claire asked. Yeah. Good, she said. Because if they want to treat you and your kid like trash, then it's time the world sees what's really inside their pretty little Christmas postcard. You don't have to take this lying down anymore. I stared at the blinking red vacancy sign and felt something settle inside me. I wasn't just hurt. I was done. You know the family business is everything to them, Claire reminded me. Jake's always bragging online about the perfect Christmas tree farm, perfect family, perfect life. What if you use the one thing they care about most against them? I looked at my phone, at the frozen frame of Jake holding those black bags. For the first time, I had proof, and for the first time, I wasn't afraid to use it. The next morning, Lily sat cross-legged on the motel bed, eating dry cereal from a paper cup. Cartoons flickered on the TV. I sat at the tiny desk staring at my laptop, the recording open on the screen. The easy option would have been to delete it. Pretend last night was just another painful memory to bury. That's what my family always counted on. That I'd be too scared, too loyal, too desperate for crumbs of love to ever push back. But I thought about Lily asking if they hated us. I thought about how many years I'd spent wishing my own mother would look at me and see a person instead of a problem. What if I stopped wishing? What if I started fighting? First, I made a copy of the video. Then I backed it up in 3 different places. Cloud storage, external drive, email to myself. Then I opened a new browser tab and searched Cotter Christmas Tree Farm. Plus articles. Pages and pages came up. Local news segments, glowing reviews. Posts about the most wholesome family-run farm for the holidays. There they were, Jake grinning for the camera, my mom arranging garland, Hannah handing out cider. Perfect. So perfect it almost made me laugh. They'd turned their image into a brand, and brands can be broken. Claire called again. Did you sleep? Not really, I admitted. I've been reading about them like they're strangers. It's like my childhood got rewritten into their marketing copy. Good, she said. You need distance to see the whole picture. What's their weakest point? I thought about it. Jake's ego, my mom's obsession with what people think, Hannah's curated social media presence. But underneath all that, the farm, that land, that story of 3 siblings running Dad's legacy together. Money and reputation, I said. They care more about those than about any actual person. Then that's where you hit them, Claire replied. But do it smart. Don't just post the video and start a war you're not ready for. Find out exactly what they owe you first. That's when I opened a folder I hadn't let myself look at in years. Old legal documents. Emails from the lawyer who'd handled my father's estate. My dad had loved that farm, but he'd also loved pretending everything was fair when it wasn't. The will said the property would be divided among the 3 of us equally. But when I got pregnant with Lily and refused to marry her father just to fix my image, my mom convinced me to sign some papers. So it'll be easier to manage things while you're figuring your life out, she'd said. I'd signed them at the kitchen table, a pen in one hand, a baby monitor in the other. Back then, I trusted her. Back then, I still believed family meant protection. Now reading those scanned documents, I saw exactly what I'd done. I'd given up control of my share, supposedly temporarily, except the word temporary never appeared. Control had been reassigned in perpetuity to Jake as primary manager, with my mom as co-signer. My name was barely more than a footnote. You were 24, Claire said when I sent her screenshots. They knew exactly what they were doing. Anger throbbed behind my eyes. They stole my inheritance, and then threw trash bags at me for showing up to the house my share helped pay for. So you hit back in 2 ways, Claire said, legally and socially, lawyer up. And when the time is right, let people see what their perfect Christmas really looks like behind the scenes. That thought scared me. Putting this out there would mean exposing my own humiliation too. But then I asked myself the question I'd avoided for years. If I keep protecting their reputation, who's protecting my daughter? I found a local attorney who specialized in family and property law, a guy named Mark with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense reputation. I sent an email with the subject line, urgent, possible coercion and fraud in inheritance documents. I attached everything. Then, with my heart pounding, I opened a blank social media account under a handle that didn't use our last name. I uploaded a single still frame from the video, just the trash bags at my feet, no faces, and typed, "Ever been told you don't belong by the people who are supposed to love you the most? Yeah, me too. Wait until you hear what my family said when I showed up for Christmas with my kid." I didn't hit post. Not yet. I saved it in drafts instead. This wasn't just about revenge. This was about timing. I wasn't going to blow up their brand with a scream. I was going to dismantle it piece by piece. The way they dismantled my confidence for years, and the next Christmas season, when their business mattered most, they were going to learn exactly what it felt like to be on the wrong end of family. 6 months later, summer heat baked the town I'd sworn I'd never return to. But there I was, 2 streets from the main square, signing a lease for a small, rundown storefront. "You sure you want this?" the landlord asked, eyeing Lily as she colored quietly at a corner table. "It needs a lot of work." "So do we," I said with a half smile. "We'll manage." I'd gotten a remote marketing job with a firm in the city. Between that and my savings, I could afford the rent if I was careful. On paper, it was just an office. In my head, it was the command center for the quiet war I was about to wage. Mark, my attorney, had responded to my email with strong words. "You have a case, but it will take time. They'll fight dirty. Are you prepared for that?" I was. I was more prepared for that than for another Christmas pretending everything was fine. He'd started digging into the property documents, the tax records, the way Jake had used the farm as collateral for loans to expand the experience. Hay rides, hot cocoa stands, Instagrammable photo zones. All of it cost money. All of it relied on the story of the loving family business. At the same time, my anonymous account started to grow. I posted short clips of audio with words blurred, snippets of conversations. "You're not family anymore. She's just a mistake," layered over stock footage of Christmas dinners and tree farms. I never used names. I never showed faces. I just told the truth, as a woman whose family turned Christmas into a weapon. People flooded the comments. "This happened to me too. My mom said the same thing about my kids. Please tell us what you did. Do you know how powerful it feels the first time strangers don't question your pain, but nod and say, 'Same'?" Every time I wanted to back down, I opened that app and read those comments. I wasn't just doing this for me anymore. I was doing it for every kid who got called a mistake, and every parent who decided that cycle ended with them. Meanwhile, Jake flourished online. He started a channel for the farm, posting behind-the-scenes content talking about legacy and family values. My mom appeared in videos, all smiles and warm hugs. Hannah hosted giveaways. I watched it all from my tiny office, laptop balanced on boxes, teeth clenched. "You know what this is?" Claire said over video chat one night. "This is a PR campaign. They're building a shield." She leaned closer to the camera. "But you know PR too, Grace. You work in marketing. They're not the only ones who can control a story." She was right. So I started planning phase 2. If they were going to build their identity on being the heart of Christmas in this town, then I was going to become the voice for everyone Christmas had hurt. My office turned into a studio. I bought a second-hand microphone, a cheap ring light, and recorded my first long-form story, still under my anonymous handle. I told the trash bag story in full. No names, no location, but every word true. I ended it with, "Next Christmas, I'm not going back as the girl they throw out. I'm going back as the woman who owns the receipts." The video exploded. Views, comments, duets from people sharing their own worst holiday memories. I watched the numbers climb and thought about my mother, who cared more about what the neighbors thought than how her own daughter felt. What would she do if the neighbors recognized her words in that story one day? My lawyer called 2 weeks later. "We found something interesting," Mark said. "Your brother refinanced the property last year, took on a significant loan to expand, using the farm as collateral. He's been making payments, but barely. One bad season, and he's in default territory." My heart slammed against my ribs. "And here's the part that matters," Mark continued. "The bank is open to selling that note. They'd rather have guaranteed money now than chase down a struggling borrower later." Meaning? Meaning if someone bought that debt, that person would have significant leverage over what happens to the farm. I felt the air shift around me. "Are you saying I could own my family's mortgage?" "If you want to," he said. "If you can handle what comes with it." I thought about Jake's face when he threw those trash bags. My mother's voice calling my daughter a reminder of my mistakes. Hannah telling my kid to watch me as an example of failure. Send me the numbers, I said. Let's see how much it costs to stop being the one they throw away. By the time the leaves started to turn, I had a plan, a folder full of documents, and a knot of fear and excitement twisted so tight in my stomach I could barely tell them apart. The bank had been more than willing to talk. The farm's debt was substantial. The risk was high, and I showed up with a clean credit record, a steady income, and a co-signer, Claire, who believed in me more than my own family ever had. We didn't buy the farm outright. We bought the note, the debt, the thing hanging over my brother's head that he had no idea was about to have my name on it. You understand this doesn't make you the owner yet, Mark reminded me. But if they miss payments, you have options. You can renegotiate terms. You can set conditions. You can decide what forgiveness looks like. Oh, I know exactly what it looks like, I said. An apology my daughter can hear. 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, I received an automated email. Carter Christmas Farm Season Launch Event. Join us for our biggest year yet. I bought 2 tickets. On the morning of the event, I dressed Lily in her warmest coat and knitted hat. My hands shook as I zipped my own jacket. Claire texted, "You got this. Remember, you're not going as the broken daughter. You're going as the woman who owns the leverage. Walk like it." At the farm, cars lined the road. Music drifted from speakers. Kids ran around laughing with cups of hot chocolate. It looked exactly like their videos. Perfect, magical, warm. My chest tightened. All my worst memories wrapped in twinkle lights and fake cheer. Jake was at the entrance in his branded jacket, greeting guests, smiling for selfies. When he saw me, his smile froze. "You've got to be kidding me," he muttered. "You actually came back." My mother hovered behind him, face draining of color. Hannah, near the cocoa stand, lowered her phone mid-Instagram story. For a second, nobody moved. Then I smiled, not the shaky, desperate smile I used to have around them, a calm, deliberate one. "We bought tickets just like everyone else," I said. "We're here to enjoy the farm." Jake stepped closer, lowering his voice. "We told you last year. You're not welcome here." "That's funny," I said quietly, "because your farm is very welcome in my portfolio." Confusion flashed across his face. "What are you talking about?" I leaned in just enough for him to smell how unafraid I was. "I own your debt, Jake. The bank sold your note. The person who decides how long this place stays open." I tapped my chest. "Hi." His jaw dropped. My mother snatched the legal notice I handed him and read it herself. Her hands trembled. This is ridiculous," she stammered. "How could you? Why would you?" "Because last year you threw trash at me and called my child a mistake," I said evenly. "And then you used our family name and Dad's legacy to build this empire on my back while cutting me out of everything." I paused. "So I decided if I was going to be the trash, I might as well be the garbage truck." Hannah's voice cut in, sharp and panicked. "You can't just threaten us in front of customers." "I'm not threatening you," I said. "I'm holding you accountable. There's a difference." I looked at each of them in turn. "You want your season to go smoothly? You want those sponsorships and influencers? Great. Then you're going to do one simple thing first." I pointed to Lily. "You're going to stand in front of my daughter, look her in the eyes, and apologize for what you said last Christmas. All of you, clearly, without excuses, and I'm going to record it." Silence. My mother's lips pressed into a thin line. "You're blackmailing your own family." "No," I said. "I'm giving you a choice. Your pride or your Christmas business. Decide." They decided. We moved to a quiet spot near the trees. I hit record. My mother knelt awkwardly and looked at Lily. "I'm sorry," she said, the words clearly foreign in her mouth. "What I said last year was wrong. You are not a mistake. You are my granddaughter. You belong here as much as anyone." Jake muttered his apology next. Then Hannah. Lily stared at them. Then at me. "Do you mean it?" she asked in a tiny voice. My mother hesitated, then nodded. "Yes." I stopped recording. "Good start," I said. "But an apology is step 1, not the finish line." Mark had already drafted the documents. A legal acknowledgement that I was coerced into signing away my share, restoration of my rights as an equal partner, a percentage of profits going into a trust for Lily, and a clause making clear that if they ever spoke about her like that again, everything goes public. They signed. Pride is loud. but fear is louder, especially when it smells like foreclosure and public scandal. Over the following weeks, I used my new authority. I changed policies. Fair wages for seasonal workers, a program giving free trees to foster families and single parents. Every time my mother complained, I reminded her, exclusivity is what almost destroyed me. Online, my anonymous account finally told the full story. This time I posted the video. Faces blurred, voices distorted, but words ringing clear. Then I posted a second video, unblurred, unfiltered, my name on the screen. Hi, I'm Grace. I'm the girl from the trash bag story. Last year, my family said my daughter and I didn't belong at Christmas. This year, I own part of their Christmas business. This is what happens when you stop begging for a seat at the table and build your own chair. The response was overwhelming. People didn't just watch. They shared. They cried. They told me their own stories. On Christmas Eve, as the last customers left and snow began to fall, I stood at the edge of the property, looking at the lights glowing against the dark. My mother approached. She looked older. Smaller. You've changed this place, she said quietly. Maybe, I answered. Or maybe I just stopped letting it change me. She hesitated. Do you hate me? I thought about the girl I used to be, the one who would have rushed to reassure her, to make her feel better about the pain she caused. That girl was gone. I don't hate you, I said. I just finally love myself and my daughter more than I love trying to make you happy. Later, driving home, Lily leaned her head against the window. It felt different this year, she said softly, like we actually belonged. I smiled. We did, I replied, because we decided it. So let me ask you this. Have you ever had a moment where you realized the people who hurt you most only had power because you believed their version of you? The night my brother threw those trash bags at my feet, they thought they were